There is a number that should not exist in professional tennis, and nobody has said it out loud yet, so let's say it right now. 0. Not 0 losses, not 0 errors, 0 cost. 0 psychological cost for falling behind, which sounds impossible until you watch what happened to a former world number 3 twice in 8 weeks on 2 different continents. And then you watch it happen a third time in a format nobody was even paying attention to. And by the end of this video, you will understand why one broadcaster off camera reportedly said, after the second identical scoreline appeared on the board, "That's not a coincidence, that's a glitch." And he wasn't wrong. He just didn't know what kind of glitch he was looking at. Picture Washington at night. Heat still sitting in the concrete, even though the sun's been down for hours. The stadium lights doing that thing where everything below them looks slightly unreal, slightly too sharp. On one side of the net is a woman who has beaten almost everyone who has ever mattered in this sport. Olympic bronze, 4 Grand Slam semifinals, 20 titles, the kind of resume that doesn't need translation. On the other side is a 21-year-old named Alex, and 2 months earlier, on a completely different surface, in a completely different country, in front of a completely different crowd, these same 2 women played a match that ended 6-3, 6-4. Now watch the scoreboard in Washington. 6-3, 6-4, same, exact score. And here's where most people would stop the story. Because she won again is a headline, not an explanation. And headlines are where curiosity goes to die. So we're not stopping there. We're going backward, then forward, then somewhere nobody's looked yet. Because the real story isn't the scoreline, it's the 11 days before it. The moment 3 days earlier when Alex was so far behind in a different match that people in the stands had already started leaving their seats. And what happened next is the actual key to everything. But we have to earn it first. So stay with me because this gets stranger the deeper you go. Let's start with who she was up against, because you cannot understand the trap without understanding the person setting it. This opponent, let's call her the architect because that's what she is, doesn't hit winners. She barely tries to. Watch her play for 10 minutes and you'll notice something almost unsettling. She seems completely fine losing the first 6 shots of a rally. She's not playing to end the point. She's playing to outlast it. Ball back, ball back, ball back. Patient, patient, patient. And then somewhere around shot 8 or 9, something happens to the person on the other side of the net. Not a physical breakdown, a mental one. They start seeing lines that aren't really there. They start going for shots they wouldn't have attempted on ball 3. And they miss. Not because she beat them, because she waited for them to beat themselves. That's 20 career titles right there. That's a career built on time, patience, and the quiet certainty that eventually everyone cracks. Everyone except, apparently, this one 21-year-old from a country that has never, not once, not in the entire history of the sport, produced a player anywhere near this level. Before this year, you could have shown Alex's photo to a room full of tennis fans and gotten mostly blank stares. Then July happened. She walked onto grass at the biggest stage in the sport and beat the woman who had won that exact title 12 months earlier, the actual defending champion, on the actual court she'd lifted the trophy on. Alex kept going. 4th round. First player from her country in the entire modern era of the sport to make the second week of a Grand Slam. Her ranking jumped to a career high. And everyone said the same thing. Nice run, hard court season will humble her, different animal, faster serves, no bad bounces to hide behind. Reasonable prediction. Except it didn't happen. First match of the hard court swing, she's up against an Olympic gold medalist. Drops the first set. Comes back and wins the next 2 decisively. Second match, she draws the defending champion of that exact tournament, a different woman this time, a former Grand Slam finalist who, by the way, had already beaten Alex earlier this season in straight sets. No contest, dominant. So this isn't a rematch anybody expected her to win. And here's where it gets genuinely uncomfortable for the people who thought they understood her. She goes down 1-5 in the second set. 1-5 against the woman who already had her number. Against a defending champion with the crowd, the momentum, and 20 minutes of controlled, comfortable tennis behind her. In every practical sense, that match is over. 90% of matches that reach 1-5 in the second set end exactly the way you'd expect. And then Alex wins 6 of the last 7 games. And then she wins the tiebreak 7-1. Her opponent finishes with 42 unforced errors, and by all reports, absolutely no idea what just happened to her. Now hold that number in your head. 1-5. Reversed completely, because we're about to place it next to something else. And when you see them side by side, the pattern stops looking like luck and starts looking like design. 2 days later, she's standing across from the architect. The woman who wins by making you pay interest on every mistake, whose entire 20-title career is built on one single unshakable fact. Everyone eventually breaks. And for the first set and a half, it looks like the script is writing itself the usual way. The architect gets ahead. She's doing the thing she's done to hundreds of players before this one. Patient, comfortable, waiting for the crack. This is exactly the phase of a match where her opponents usually start missing. And instead, Alex breaks back, then holds 3 games in a row, taken during the exact stretch where the architect has never lost control in 15 years of doing this. Not with more power, not with some miracle shot. She simply refused, point after point, to give the architect the one resource her entire game depends on: time. Because here's the mechanism, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Every deep, heavy ball the architect hits isn't really trying to win the point. It's buying her 2 seconds. 2 seconds to reset her feet, get her hips back into position, rebuild the defensive shape that has bailed her out for a decade and a half. Alex doesn't give her those 2 seconds. She stands practically on top of the baseline and takes the ball on the rise, before it's finished telling her what it's going to do, and sends it straight back into a court the architect hasn't arrived in yet. Do that once, it's a good shot. Do it for an entire set, and the greatest defender on tour stops defending. She starts chasing. And normally, this strategy is a trap of its own. Coaches teach early ball striking constantly, and it destroys almost everyone who tries it against a top 10 defender, because the margin for error is razor thin. You're guessing before the ball tells you the truth. Miss the timing by a fraction and it sails 4 feet long. The typical young player who tries this against someone at the architect's level hits 3 gorgeous winners, gets overconfident, and then unravels in 20 minutes. That's the story tennis has told 1,000 times. Except in that defending champion comeback 2 days earlier, Alex made 4 unforced errors in an entire set. 4, against the highest risk style in the sport. So something else is happening here. Something underneath the tactic. And it's bigger than footwork or timing. Now here's the part where the story actually flips upside down, because the easy explanation, fast grass, different result, normal upset, dies the moment you put the second match next to the first. Berlin was grass in June. Fast, low, skidding, the kind of surface that manufactures exactly this type of upset every single season. Fine, explainable, file it away. Then Washington happens. Different continent, different season, hard court, at night, under lights, the exact conditions the architect has spent her whole career loving, because slow, heavy hard court means long rallies, and long rallies mean her. Other players in that same draw were describing the ball as flying, having to hold back on power just to control it. Nobody was calling those conditions fast. And the score comes out 6-3, 6-4, identical. To the number. So ask yourself the question that should be bothering you right now. If you change the surface, change the continent, change the ball, change the time of day, and the outcome doesn't move by a single game, where is the actual variable? Because it clearly isn't the court. Something else is traveling with these 2 players, something that has nothing to do with grass or hard court, and it lives somewhere neither commentator that night thought to look. It lives in the gap between what the architect needs to win and what Alex is willing to give her. The architect needs time. Alex deletes it. That's layer 1, and it's the visible layer. Rewatch either match with that idea in your head, and you cannot unsee it for the rest of the footage. But layer 1 only explains half the story. It explains why she can win points, why she can break serve, why she can close out a set cleanly from a neutral position. It does not explain 1-5. It does not explain 42 unforced errors ripped out of a defending champion who had already beaten her once this year. For that, you need the second layer, and almost nobody watching live has clocked it yet. For most players, falling behind is debt. Real debt. You go down a break and it costs you something that has nothing to do with the actual scoreboard. A sliver of belief disappears. The next point costs appears. The next point costs a little more. By the time you're down 1-5, you're not just losing games anymore. You're paying interest on games you lost 15 minutes ago, and the interest is always bigger than the original deficit. That's how comebacks against elite players almost never happen. The debt compounds faster than the recovery. For Alex, that interest rate appears to be 0. 1-5 and love all look structurally identical to her. She just keeps executing the same plan she had at the start of the match, point by point. Like the scoreboard is a rumor she hasn't confirmed yet. Call it whatever you want, deficit immunity, a broken internal clock, whatever. But put it next to the first layer, and something clicks into place that should genuinely unsettle every player left in this tournament. The architect's whole method is a slow tax. She doesn't knock you out in one punch. She makes the match expensive, ball after ball, until you can't afford to keep playing your game. It's one of the most effective psychological weapons in the sport, and it is completely useless against someone who doesn't accumulate frustration. You cannot bankrupt a player who never pays. 2 matches, 2 identical scorelines, 2 completely different continents, 1 mechanism, and if you think that's the whole story, sit down, because it gets bigger. Rewind 4 weeks before any of this. The grass tournament where Alex first broke through. The defending champion she beat there wasn't some random name. It was the woman who had won that exact title the year before, on that exact court. Now fast forward to the hard-court match with the 1-5 comeback, also a defending champion. 2 tournaments, 2 reigning title holders, removed back-to-back. One of those wins you could call a career day, a fluke, lightning in a bottle. 2 on separate surfaces 4 weeks apart? That's not a career day, that's a pattern. And patterns have mechanics. Now here's a detail that should genuinely stop you in your tracks. Because almost nobody outside of the most obsessive corners of tennis coverage has mentioned it. This wasn't even the second time Alex had beaten the architect. It was the third. Earlier in the season, in doubles, partnered with a different player entirely, Alex ran into the architect again, this time playing alongside a legend of the sport. A genuine icon, and won that match too. Singles, doubles, grass, hard court. 3 completely different formats and surfaces, spread across the calendar, and the architect has lost every single one. A 21-year-old from a country with functionally 0 tennis history has never lost to a former world number 3 in any format they've ever shared a court in. Now look at where she actually sits in the rankings versus where the results say she should be. At the start of this year, Alex was ranked around 140 in the world, not a name anyone was arguing about, just another young player grinding through the undercard. By the spring, she'd climbed into the 30s. By the summer, a career high in the 20s. After the Washington run, she cracked the top 25 for the first time in her life. Look at the names sitting near her on that list right now. Players with far bigger reputations, far more sponsorship money, far more magazine covers. On paper, before this run, they were basically the same player. They are not the same player anymore, because none of them just removed 3 separate champions in 6 weeks, using a strategy that seems to switch off the part of the brain that normally punishes you for falling behind. So here's where we actually are, and here's why what comes next matters more than anything we've talked about so far. If the theory holds, if this really is a mechanism and not a streak, then logically, the most dangerous possible opponent for Alex isn't a bigger hitter. Power doesn't threaten her, because power shortens the point, and short points are exactly what she wants. Her actual nightmare matchup is someone who takes time away from her faster than she takes it from them. Someone who ends the point before her strategy ever gets to start. And that is precisely who is waiting for her next. A 4-time Grand Slam champion with one of the biggest serves the women's game has ever produced. Someone whose entire first strike style is engineered to finish a point in 3 shots or fewer. before Alex has even completed her split step. These two have never played each other, not once. Zero history, zero film. Nobody, not even their own coaches, knows exactly what happens when the woman who steals time meets the woman who refuses to give anyone time to begin with. For the first time all summer, Alex might not be the one dictating the rhythm of the match. She might be the one getting rushed. And there's more sitting on this than a trophy. There's a ranking cutoff coming for the next Grand Slam. And if Alex holds her position, she avoids a brutal opening round matchup and opens up her entire path through the tournament. Every match from here isn't just about winning, it's about building a door that's actually possible to walk through in New York. And underneath all of that is something that has nothing to do with tennis at all. No player from her country, in the entire history of the sport, has ever stood where she's standing right now. Crowds have gotten big enough back home that she reportedly needs security just to move through them. An entire country is learning in real time what it feels like to have someone like this. So here's the question this story actually leaves you with. The one that should be genuinely bothering you as much as it's bothering me. Every player on tour has a number, a deficit so large, a moment so late, where the match simply becomes unwinnable for them. We have not found that number for Alex. Not on grass. Not on hard court. Not against a defending champion. Not against a former world number 3. Not in singles. Not in doubles. Maybe the 4-time Grand Slam champion finds it. Maybe nobody finds it this year. Nobody knows yet. And that, more than any scoreline, more than any statistic, is exactly why you are going to want to be watching when we find out.